So we're gonna be talking ratio. What percentage of wax do I use versus fragrance oil? Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your girl Andrea, and I'm going to be singing now. It's Andrea of Buoyant Essentials. That's my brand, guys. I've recently launched, well, today, March 1st, if you're watching this today is the launch of Buoyant Essentials. And I am so tired, guys, but it is so worth it. The work that I've put into this brand it's just amazing. But I think I am happy with the results. I'm going to link my website down below so you can check it out and let me know what you think. Purchase something from me. So we're gonna be talking ratio. What percentage of wax do I use versus fragrance oil, right? The website that I purchased from is called Village Craft Candles. I will link them down below. Actually, I'm an affiliate with that company now. So please purchase using the link below if you decide to purchase from them. It would mean a lot to me. So I'll link them down below, but on their website they will tell you how much fragrance oil you can actually use with your wax. And that is very important, guys, to follow that, because if you use too much fragrance oil, then you're going to have sweating at the top of your wax, of your candle, and you don't want that to happen, because that will affect how the candle actually burns. The more fragrance oil you use, if you use too much fragrance oil, then it will leave a lot of soot as well. So it can become potentially hazardous. So you want to make sure that you're actually using the right proportions in terms of wax to fragrance oil, right? So for me personally, the wax that I chose, it can concentrate up to 1 ounce per pound of wax. So for this jar, I use half of that, because like for me, for these jars, these are my 8-ounce jars. I actually have them labeled as a 7.5 ounce, but they can actually take up to 8 ounces. This is 8 ounces, and I need a pound, approximately 1 pound of wax to make 2 of these. And so that's 1 ounce of fragrance oil, right? That will make 2 of these. So yeah, so that's the ratio that I use. I find that that is easier for me than to say 12% or 8%. I started off doing that at first, but my first batch of candles that I made, and I just found that to be a little bit confusing doing it this way, because I can actually weigh out the pound and weigh out the wax. It just makes it a lot easier for me to do. And I found that the hot throw on these candles that I've made are much better than when I did it the other way of, doing the percentage crap. Like, I'm not very good at math, but this is something that works for me. So depending on where you're gonna decide to buy your wax from, they're going to tell you, usually they will tell you, how much fragrance oil you can actually use with that wax. So that's what I do, and that has worked for me. I just want to give you guys a few, if you're deciding to do concrete candles, just a few important things that I've noted with making concrete candles is that, one, if you don't seal the jars, what it's gonna look like, guys, if you don't seal your jars. So if you're thinking about doing concrete candles and you're thinking, I'm saying, maybe I don't have to seal the jar. You have to seal the jar. This jar has actually started cracking already, and it's definitely, the wax definitely seeped through the jar. And another thing to note is that a lot of people will say to you that you can use paint, or you can use pigment powder to actually color your jars. You can. This jar was actually colored with paint, and I found that the ones that are colored with paint, the cement that I colored with paint, they weigh less, and but I feel like the integrity of those jars are not as good as when I use pigment powder. So you'll also, if you've been watching videos on how to make concrete jars, you'll also see a lot of people talk about, adding the pigment powder and adding titanium dioxide to your mixture. I 100% recommend adding titanium dioxide to your mixtures. The reason why I say that is, like, I feel like it makes the integrity of your jars, stronger. Look at these jars, guys. Now, this was made with titanium dioxide. Of course, that's how I got this. I achieved this this color, right? But look at the bottom of this jar versus the bottom of this jar. All the jars that I made without titanium dioxide, this is how they came out, the bottom of them. But the ones that I made with titanium, and I did my mixture just the same. Yeah, and everything else about my mixture was the same, except the fact that I added titanium dioxide. I'm going to, this is actually sealed. I actually use my Eco Earth Safe sealer to seal these, the bottom of these. I didn't want to seal the outside because I want the outside to have this matte look, but I sealed the inside and just the bottom of here, just because I saw that it came out this way. Most of them came out this way, but this is gonna have like a sticker on it. My warning labels are going to be at the bottom, and then I'm going to put the bumper stickers at the bottom here as well, to prevent, you know, from scratching any surface or whatever like that. Haven't gotten around to doing, well, this is just a tester, right? But yeah, so those are some of the tips that I can give you if you're thinking about making concrete jars, is to make sure you add titanium dioxide to it, and to not use paint. I don't recommend using the paint, using the watercolor. It takes longer to dry as well when you use paint, to acrylic paint to actually color it. I found that my mixtures take longer to dry. I've had a lot of them crumble up on me. Like the time that I would take to unmold without the paint versus with the paint, it just doesn't work out for me. So I recommend you using pigment powder and titanium dioxide to increase the integrity of your jars. And another tip I want to give is to make sure that you allow your jars to dry. My process takes about a week because concrete takes a while to dry. Even though it might appear to be dry, you will notice when you unmold your jars, they have a darker color. As time progresses, it's gonna lighten up because it's not dry yet. It's not fully dry yet. So when it's fully dry is when you're gonna actually see what the color of that jar is. So allow it to dry for about 2 days, and then you seal your jars. When you seal that jar, give it 24 hours again before you pour wax into it, right? So make sure that you're sealing, you're giving it enough time to cure, basically. And then this is one thing that I didn't know when I made my first batch of candles, is that candles take some time to cure. Nobody says that. I've watched so many, I think only one person I've watched who I heard making mention of this. And I was like, oh, that's why the first batch that I made, the hot throw wasn't as good as I had expected. And especially with the fragrances that I was using, I expected the hot throw to be way better than it was. So the next time around I made them, I let them cure for 1 week, guys. You don't actually, I think this one, I didn't let cure for 1 week. I let this one cure for 3 days. And I tell you, it makes so much of a difference. So give it some time. I don't know, maybe if you're making them and you know it's gonna take a little while to get to your customers, then probably you can chance it. But I would say for the optimal performance of your candles, just give it a week to cure and then you ship them out, because you want to make sure that you're giving your customers the best, right? So yeah, those are some of the tips that I have. I feel like I have a lot of tips already, guys, but in another video I'm going to talk about I'm going to be talking about shipping, because that was also something that I struggle with in terms of trying to identify what's the best packaging, what's the best method to ship, what's the best price to charge my customers. And I think I've mastered that. I've watched so many YouTube videos. People are doing the most with those videos, and I feel like the method that I've chosen to use is just simple, straightforward, and I'm going to be doing another video, you know, showing you guys how I work out my shipping. So that's it. Let's get into making some candles. So if you're really serious about your candle making, guys, I would encourage you to get one of these. I started off using the double boiler method, but I found that that was a little time consuming. It wasn't the easiest process using the double boiler method, to be honest with you. I mean, it works for some people, but it just wasn't working for me. So I decided to invest, because I'm very serious about this business. So I decided to invest in one of these. I got this on Amazon. I'm gonna link it in my storefront. It's gonna be linked below. And so I got this from Amazon. It was about $140 something, like maybe I would say 150 Canadian dollars. And I think it was a really good investment. This holds up to 10 pounds of wax, and it melts the wax really fast. Like it goes up to, let me turn this here for you. It warms up to 400 degrees and it works very fast. And once it's at the 200, I usually warm at 200. It's going to turn it off, and then if you don't tell it to, like, it's gonna keep it warm then. So it's gonna keep coming back on to keep it to that 200 degrees. I would definitely recommend you getting one of these. It has been a tremendous help with, and I'm anticipating that when I get bigger that I'm gonna be getting one of those bigger ones. But this is a great investment. Yeah, and another benefit with this one is just that, you know, if you look inside there, I do have some wax still in there, just a little bit at the bottom. So it allows you not to waste your wax, right? Because if you're doing the double boiler method, like, what are you going to do with the rest of that wax that you have left back, right? I mean, I'm not bashing anybody who is using that, because if that's what you can afford at the time, then by all means, I completely understand that. But you know, I'm just imploring you guys to invest in one of these, you know, after you've gotten started. It's gonna make your life so much easier. So I did have some wax left from my first order, and so I'm just gonna use this one. I got so the scale is at 0, so you want to put your measuring cup or whatever it is, if you're gonna use your pitcher to do it, and then you're gonna let it 0. You're gonna 0 your scale just like that, and then that way you're able to, whatever it is that you put inside there, it's gonna just weigh it, right? I don't know if this jar, if this is gonna hold a lot. You know what I should have done? I'm just gonna weigh this bag and see how much is actually in it. Give or take, right? And you're gonna find that, guys, like, everything is not gonna be to the T. So this is just 1 pound 11 ounces, right? So let's just chop that up to 1 pound to a pound, right? Because the bag has some weight to it. And then I'm gonna just pour that into my what did I call this? This is a pesto pot? Yeah. It's a presto pot, actually. So that was just 1 pound. And you see how let me see if I could get you to look. You see how this looks like a lot? It's gonna melt down to nothing, right? So I have some more here in a big box. Let me show you guys. So that's my bulk order that I made. So I'm just going to be measuring that, okay? So I've weighed up my wax, and I put my Presto pot on, and I put it on 200 degrees. And we're gonna give that a few. So here I'm just using my scale to weigh my fragrance oil, and I'm using 3 different oils, 2 of which I'm using more of than one. One is like a base. So, but in total, in total I'm using about 3 ounces, because we're doing 3 pounds, right? So we're doing 3 ounces of fragrance oil. And I didn't get to catch like all of this on camera because I got distracted with my little toddler. You know how that is. So, but that's what I'm doing here. I'm just measuring each different oil to make sure that I have the proportion right for each, so that the fragrance comes out the way that I actually want it to smell. Guys, this doesn't have to be something that you get to the T, like, but it just have to be roundabout, right? That's what I found with this process. And this, you know, making candles, there's a creative aspect to it as well. So sometimes you're going to do things and it's just not gonna come out how you plan it, but it's gonna come out to it's gonna be something, right? So like I said, I didn't really get to catch all of it because I actually started pouring this when it was at 160 degrees. So it warmed up to 200 degrees. When it got to 160 degrees is when I poured it into the pitcher. And then I'm going to add my fragrance oil at that point. This is just me wicking my jars. And this, I think I need to get that wicking tool that's going to make it come directly into the center of it, because I'm having a bit of a challenge with this part. But I decided to do 5. I think I said I was going to do 7 at the beginning, but I decided to do 5. Well, I think I ended up doing 6 because I did a large one as well, a 15-ounce jar as well, but I didn't get to film it. So because as I said, I got distracted with doing some social media stuff for my Instagram and stuff like that. So yeah, I added my fragrance oil and I'm just gonna gently pour them into my jar. If anybody knows how to get the wax stain out of the jar, I haven't mastered that yet. I think I'm gonna do some research on that one, because I had a little bit of wax that tipped onto one of my jars on the outside. I would advise, I think I'm going to invest into one of those. I see people with those pancake dispenser. You know, that one that you press from the top and you let it it funnels into your jar basically. I think I'm going to invest into one of that because I think that's going to be more efficient in the pouring process. But that is basically how I did it. For my measuring, guys, I think that is simple and straightforward, and I'm not a person who loves mathematics. So maybe it's the same thing that I'm saying in another way, but that's just the way that I interpret how I add my ratios with my fragrance oil. I hope this video has been helpful to you guys, and stay tuned because I'll be doing a lot more on my journey here with making candles. I fill these jars up too much, so I had to like really use my heat gun to get the top of them really smooth. I'll show you a picture at the end of this video. But yeah, I'm so in love with this process, with the journey of making candles, and I am just praying for the success of Voyant Essential. Please click the link down below, check out my website to see my work that I've done. And if you do need some help with launching your business, drop me a message, because I think I'm pretty good at building websites, and I'll be happy to help you with creating your own websites. So let me know if you have any questions as it relates to how I did some of the things. I think my website looks really professional and really beautiful, and I'm glad to share everything with you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.